Good morning, gorgeous folks, and welcome to lesson 356. I really do hope you're proud of yourself as you're on the last leg of this journey. And, it's no mean feat to get up and to be with something, every single day of the year. And I know I'm even proud of myself as I come towards the end of making these recordings. And I really think it's a beautiful nod to the type of peace and love that you want to have in your life and you want to create in the world. So let's take our holy moment as we do every morning and gently close our eyes down and enter into this sacred time and space that we've carved out in our day for us, but also so that we may be extensions of joy and love in the world. And so we pause and we drop our awareness inwards and downwards, closing our outer eyes that we may open our inner eye, our Christ vision. Choosing to be fully present here today. Choosing to let nothing get in the way of us and the love that we are. We begin this day in gratitude. We open our hearts and we surrender to love. We ask love to lead the way through the minutes and the hours of this new day. We welcome joy, fun, and abundant prosperity. We recognize that all encounters are wholesome and that all experiences can be met with a peaceful heart that is anchored in the truth that we are one, that we are love, and that we are free. And so we release these words and we let it be. So lesson 356, sickness is another name for sin. Healing is just another name for God. The miracle is thus a call to God. So if we look at sickness as separation, that we believe we're separate from God and we believe that we're sinful. And then because of this, we carry, guilt and shame and this idea of wrongdoing. And we don't process those feelings and emotions that come up for us in relation to this idea of being sinful and being separate. And then because of that, we often, we feel off, I suppose. So whether it's physically sick, mentally sick, emotionally sick, it's that feeling of being separate and of feeling off. Healing, on the other hand, is knowing that we're one with God. And so the miracle is that call out to God, to love, calling out to that recognition that we're not separate, that God is there. And, as close as our breath, we are ideas in the mind of Source. And it's really important that we recognize this here, today. So, when we think about the word sickness, it's not necessarily in the same way that you might think of it. And the most important thing about this is not be judgmental. Because as soon as we do that, we make any sort of sickness wrong. So we're not making sickness wrong. We're not even making it bad. All we're saying is that when you're feeling off in any way, it's very often linked to this idea of being separate. You've forgotten your true nature. You have forgotten that you are love. And often we're laden down with guilt or blame or shame or heavy with this idea of sin. So, Creator, you promised you would never fail to answer any call your child might make to you. It does not matter where it is, what seems to be its problem, nor what it believes it has become. And this is a reminder, I'm just going to pause there because we often feel like we have fallen from the grace of God. You can never fall from the grace of God, ever, ever, ever. So it goes on to say, it is your child and you will answer it. Love will always answer. The miracle reflects your love and thus it answers the child. Your name, your identity replaces every thought of sin. And who is sinless cannot suffer pain. Your name gives answer to your child because to call your name is only to call its own. So again, having us realize that we're not separate. So in a way, I almost have an image, if it was, for example, me, that, me caught up in a bad dream or a nightmare. And somehow when we're in a nightmare, we very often manage to rouse ourselves out of the nightmare. And it's a bit like that. It's like me saying to myself, Mia, wake up. You're not sinful. There is no guilt. There is no shame. You're innocent. You are the light. You are love. You are one with the divine. And so, this is what we're called to do. And because it's not, well, by now we're developing the habit, but because we're breaking the habit of a lifetime, it really means continually catching, pausing, taking a holy instant, taking the time, even if it's just to repeat an affirmation to yourself, a positive affirmation. I am love. I am light. I am goodness. I am truth. I release any ideas of sin. I release any ideas of right and wrongdoing. For it is beyond all of that that love meets me. And it is beyond all of that I will come to know myself as love and as the light of the world. So if you do find yourself feeling off in any way, it's worth seeing, like, what am I believing about myself at the moment? And, we've all had that inner voice. And if you catch the kind of things the inner voice says, they really can be so mean and so awful. I was such a name caller to myself. And I don't call myself names anymore, though I can still, I'm not saying I'm not capable of it, but I certainly still can catch myself at times, calling myself really stupid. And this is, the child of God that I'm calling stupid. We're so far from stupid. We're so far from foolish, so begin to notice all the harsh things that you say to yourself. And as you notice them, this is where, you're recognizing that you're in judgment of yourself. You're really being hard on yourself. And that judge needs love too. So the one that's judging, the one that's calling the names, take it into your heart and love it and love it and love it. I'll say it again and again. Love is the answer to everything. It's the only thing that heals. And so entering into your space of meditation, maybe taking your hands onto your heart today. And actually, do you know what's a lovely practice is to take the heel of your hand and rub your heart center. And you stimulate the heart. And as you do so, even think upon some things that you like or that you enjoy in life, or maybe some happy memories. And just begin to feel your heart open. And then keep circling nice and slowly. And just reminding yourself, in whatever nurturing words come to you, of who you truly are, of your goodness, of how lightly you can vibrate when you recognize your goodness, and how you can radiate into the world a love that knows no end, a boundless love, and fun and joy and ease. And then taking some quiet time meditating on love.